Hi friends, welcome to Jogo Coaching. In this video, I will provide a detailed explanation about acceptance test driven development, that is also called ATDD, along with the example and the advantages of using ATDD in Agile software development. First, let's understand what is acceptance test driven development. ATDD is an Agile software development practice. In this practice, the entire team, including the developers, testers, and the business stakeholders, collaborate to define the acceptance criteria and the acceptance test for the features before development begins. The goal of ATDD is to ensure that the software being developed meets the expectation of the business by following the acceptance criteria. ATDD is closely related to behavior-driven development and test-driven development. Test-driven development focus on writing unit tests for individual components, and behavioral-driven development focus on writing behavior scenarios in a plain language. ATDD caters on writing acceptance tests based on the user stories and the acceptance criteria that describes the system behavior from the business perspective. Hope you got a high level understanding about what is acceptance test driven development now. Let's understand about few key concepts of acceptance test driven development. The first concept is collaboration. ATDD emphasizes collaborative conversation between the developers, testers, product owners, and other stakeholders to define the expected behavior of the system. The team works together to write the acceptance test that capture the business requirement in a clear and testable manner. The second concept is acceptance criteria. Each user story has an acceptance criteria that specify what the system needs to do for the story to be considered complete. These criteria serves as the basis for the acceptance test. The acceptance criteria should be clear, measurable, and understandable by both technical and non-technical stakeholders. The third concept is acceptance tests. Acceptance tests are written before the development of the feature begins. That will ensure that everyone agrees on what constitutes done for the feature. These tests help to verify the system behaviors that are expected from the business users. The fourth concept is test automation. Acceptance tests are often automated to ensure that system is tested from end-to-end perspective and covering entire workflow of the user story. The tests are integrated into continuous integration pipeline, and that will provide the frequent feedback about the behavior of the system. ATDD has its own workflow, so let's understand this 5-step workflow. The first step is collaboration and definition. Stakeholders, including developer, tester, product owners, and business analysts, collaborate to discuss the user story and define the acceptance criteria. The goal is to ensure that everyone understands what is the feature should do and how it should behave from the business perspective. This is the first step in the workflow. The second step is write acceptance test. Once the acceptance criteria are clear, the team writes the acceptance test. These tests are based on the defined criteria and also follow the structure given, when, then. This is similar to behavior-driven development. The acceptance test focus on the system's functionality from the end user perspective. The third workflow is development. Developers implement the features by writing code that meets the acceptance criteria defined by the acceptance test. Developers uses the acceptance test to verify that feature behaves correctly throughout the development. The fourth step in the workflow is execution of acceptance test. After the feature is developed, the acceptance tests are executed. If the feature passes all the tests, it is considered complete and ready for release. If any test fails, developers iterate and fix the issues until the acceptance test pass. The fifth step in the workflow is feedback and refinement. ATDD promotes a feedback loop that will allow the team to refine the requirements and acceptance criteria as needed. This will be based on the ongoing discussion and collaboration. So hope now you understood what is the workflow followed in ATDD. Now let me provide an example of acceptance test driven development. Let us learn about the steps involved in implementing ATDD to develop the login feature for the online application. The step one is collaboration and definition. So here the product owner and the development team meets and define the user story for the login feature. The user story will be, as a user, I want to log into the system so that I can access my account. The acceptance criteria for this user story is, one is the user must enter a valid username and password to log into successfully. The second acceptance criteria is, if the username password is incorrect, the user should see an error message. If the login is successful, the user should be redirected to the desired dashboard. These are all the acceptance criteria. The first step, collaborate and define the user story and the acceptance criteria. The second step is write acceptance test in given, when, then format. So based on the acceptance criteria, the team can write the acceptance test like test 1, successful login. Given the user has a valid username and password, when the user submits the login form, then the user should be redirected to their dashboard. The test case 2 is invalid username. Given the user provides an invalid username, when the user submits the login form, then the system should display an error message, invalid username. So you can see given, when, then in this example. This is the second step. The third step is code development. With the acceptance test in place, the developer begins implementing the login feature and focusing on the acceptance criteria. Implement form validation to check if the username password are correct and ensure that if it is incorrect, we need to give an appropriate message. So this will be covered as part of the code development by the developers. The fourth step is execution of acceptance criteria. Once the login functionality is implemented, team will run the acceptance test to check the behavior. If all the test cases passed, then the feature is considered as completed and ready for deployment. If any test fails, the team will investigate the failure and fix the issue, then rerun the test to ensure that the acceptance test is passed. This is the fourth step example. The example for the fifth step is feedback and refinement. If any issue found, the acceptance criteria or implementation may need to be refined based on the feedback. So these are all the example for 5 steps process followed in acceptance test driven development practice. So you can pause this video and read through all these 5 steps for this example. Now let's learn about few advantages of acceptance test driven development. The first advantage is clear requirements and shared understanding. ATDD ensures that all the stakeholders, including developers and testers, have a shared understanding of the requirements before development begins. Acceptance criteria is created by all the stakeholders. This is the first advantage. The second advantage is focus on business value. ATDD ensures that team is focused on delivering functionality that adds value to the business. The third advantage is reduce ambiguity. ATDD helps to reduce ambiguity in the requirements by clearly defining acceptance criteria and writing the tests. The fourth advantage is automated acceptance test. ATDD ensures the use of automated acceptance tests, providing a safety net for ensuring the team work as expected. The fifth advantage is early bug detection. Development team is able to catch issues early in the process. Bugs are identified when the feature is being implemented rather than after it has been completed. The sixth advantage is enhanced test coverage. ATDD ensures that test covers the full scope of the features, including edge cases and potential failure scenarios. The seventh advantage is better traceability. The acceptance criteria and acceptance test provide the clear traceability from the user story to the system behavior. Hope you understood the advantages of ATDD now. In summary, acceptance test-driven development is a powerful agile practice that helps team to build software that meets business expectations. This will be ensured by acceptance criteria and acceptance test. Through collaboration between developers, testers, and business stakeholders, so we will ensure that shared understanding of the system behavior with ATDD. ATDD will help to improve the communication within the team, and it will always focus on delivering the real business value. With the test-driven development practice, test automation coverage will be increased and the issues were captured early in the development process. This is another advantage of ATDD. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel and leave your questions and comments below. If you are looking for one-on-one coaching or training about Agile concept and Agile career progress, please contact us through the email address mentioned in this slide. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.